Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So before anybody asks, yes, I am missing an earring. I for some reason cannot seem to keep piercings in my right ear. I have lost so many earrings out of this right ear, so right now it is empty. I wanted to just go ahead and just kind of do like some new makeup that's come in, and because I do have a couple of interesting things I'd like to try. So first things first, I'm gonna do some primer, and for that I'm going to go for this TIRTIR Milk Skin Toner. I just got the mini because like if I use this strictly as a primer, I'm literally never gonna finish a whole one. During the Sephora sale, I had considered getting the ILIO one because that one was like getting really popular because like face milks got really popular all of a sudden. I was gonna get like the small size, but I just felt like it was so expensive for what it was, and people were saying that the Korean ones are honestly pretty similar. So I was like, you know what, I'll just try getting a Korean one, and if I like it, maybe I'll get the other one. I know some people also said they like the Rhode one too. I've never tried anything from Rhode though, so I don't know. I've just been using this one. I think it's fine. I like it better than the Creme Skin Mist from Laneige. I feel like that one can be a little bit heavy. Like it doesn't really like settle. It kind of just stays feeling a little bit thick and heavy on my skin. This is just the normal version. They do make a light version, which maybe I was considering maybe getting that and trying that if I think this one's a little bit much, especially because right now it is so hot and humid. I'm not sure yet though, so I just kind of give that ample time to settle down. I'm just using right now like just some random eye cream. Okay, so to start off with, I pretty much never buy drugstore foundations because generally speaking there's not usually a shade that works for me, and I also generally speaking find drugstore foundations to be kind of heavy, and if they're not, they're really drying, and if they're meant to be hydrating, they're really oily and don't feel good, and they're too much. Like I feel like drugstore foundations tend to be too much of everything or too much of one thing, versus higher end foundations and luxury foundations are a lot more balanced. So I just have never really found one that I like. The only one that I really ever found that I liked was the L'Oreal one and the Revlon one, but even those, like, and I would recommend especially the Revlon one, but like I still like other brands even more, even considering the price differential. But I just was feeling kind of curious because I've just never tried one before. I decided to try a foundation from E.L.F. because I've never, and their shade range looked pretty generous, especially for somebody who is a little bit more olive like me. So I picked up the shade 12, which I think might be okay. It looks promising. It says it's warm, but it didn't look overly yellow. This is the Satin foundation. So it's in a squeezy tube. Here's what it looks like. Yeah, I think this is a pretty promising shade as long as it doesn't like turn super orange after a couple minutes. I bought this off of the E.L.F. website. I didn't realize that having an account gives you access to free shipping without any minimum. If I had known that sooner, there definitely would have been more things I would have tried from them. I thought that they had a shipping minimum. I just didn't realize that if you had an account there wasn't. Like I literally didn't know until I bought this. So I only spent $8 on this even with shipping. So I definitely think in the future that will definitely tempt me to try more things from E.L.F. So we'll see. Oh, I forgot to use under eye corrector again. That's fine. Yeah, I had makeup sitting on my counter. I just didn't really feel like filming. It's just been really hard for me to do things, so. But I'm sitting down and using it now. And that is also why I haven't really been buying much makeup lately, because for as much stuff as I want, I just kind of end up sitting on it, gazing at it longingly, wanting it, but knowing that if I got it, it would just sit in my pile of shame. So I'll just be behind. I'll just not be caught up on new releases for a while, and I'm just kind of taking like a break, and we'll see when I feel like I can start keeping up again. So like I initially was going to get the cosmic brushes, the 2 new releases. I initially was going to set my alarm for those, and I initially was going to get the Blend Bunny Longing palette as well, but as of right now I don't know. I don't know when I'd get around to them, so this is not the season of my life for buying new makeup right now, I don't think. Especially when I have all of this makeup that I never got around to using that I bought already like months ago. So I think it's alright. It's a shame that I'll, you know, miss out on it, but if I ever feel like I want to buy them in the future, I can wait for a sale. Like it's not really a big deal. Plus with new makeup always coming out, maybe the next thing will be even more pretty for my magpie little self. So I'm just trying to be okay with missing out. I get such bad FOMO, and stuff tends to like stick to my brain. Like I get fixated on things and I'll think about it for like months, but I'm just trying my best to like be like, just no, chill out, it's fine. This is a fresh application. I would say buildable coverage, medium buildable coverage. I think it is as advertised satin foundation. It's a little bit glowy on me, but I do have a very good hydrating toner underneath. I saw that Heather Austin did like an Aquaphor thing for her concealer, and it made her concealer look really good, and it seemed like a really effective way to like kind of prep and prime your under eyes. I kind of want to try that, especially in the wake of not having a Jaclyn under eye primer. I use like my smaller fingers to do an initial blend out so that I don't soak up any product, and then I go in with some form of brush, and then I use the brush, and I just use the brush along the edges. And that way I can keep the majority of the coverage where I want it, and then I just use the brush to kind of blend out the edges very carefully. My left eye, I'm not as good at concealing. Under eyes are covered, not completely, just a nice natural level of coverage for me because my under eyes are a little bit dry these days. I've been very inconsistent with skincare, and I know it has consequences, but it's been so hard for me to have the energy to do anything that if I can do like bare minimum, if I can just wash my face and throw on a moisturizer, I'm good. So my skin condition is not as great as it could have been. My skin is very dry. It is very humid now, but my under eyes especially are still very dry. I do need to like I need to pay more attention to them. I'm thinking I should probably, I'm like trying a couple different eye creams right now, seeing what works for me, but anyways. Complexion is done, looking pretty good so far. I'm going to use a hydrating setting spray. I think I will go ahead and add some powder to my face because I do want to use powder products for my bronzer and my blush. So basically, NYX was buy two get one free on Ulta, and I had a $10 off 50 drugstore coupon. So naturally, I am definitely really eager to try these. I'm not super into glowy blushes, as I've mentioned, so I kind of picked and chose a little bit carefully. I'm pretty sure all of these are not totally matte, but at the same time I was like, if it's a little bit glowy, I can manage that. I just don't want it, like, the M Cosmetics Baked blushes are a little bit too glowy for me these days, so I hardly use those anymore. So as long as they're not like that glowy, I hope it'll be fine. We'll see. I love how the packaging is the same color as the inside. The bronzer definitely caught my eye. So I am going to use the SAIE setting powder in translucent, the Airset one. This one's not super mattifying, as you can tell also, and I didn't really want to go for a completely matte complexion today, so that's the other reason that I picked this one. I'm not generally one to buy clean beauty products, but I do find that this SAIE powder has held up really well over time, so that's made me really happy. I find with clean beauty products, I'm more likely to buy their powder products, but if it says it's advertised as clean and it's cream or liquid, then I'm like, okay, maybe not, unless it looks really that good that it would still be worth using, even if it expires quickly. Like, it has to be like really persuasive to get me if it's cream or liquid and clean at the same time, but if it's powder, then it's like, okay, I could go for it. So I just put on a very, very thin layer, so I didn't really fully powder down. Like, if I were to still touch my skin, it would be a little bit tacky, like it's not fully like velvet or anything. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and try the bronzer, and then I'll go into the eyes. So I got the shade 01, which is Buttercup or Butta Cup. I don't think I sound very, I don't like how I sound when I say the butter words, so I'm just gonna say it as if they were like the actual word. Like, some people can pull it off. I sound really stupid, so but this is the shade. It has a sweet beachy scent to it. I don't know how you'd call it, but it definitely reminds me of like a typical beachy scent. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I don't mind it either. I'm gonna take a small angled brush so that I can be more precise. Oh, and there's no mirror. I don't know, I was like expecting a tiny mirror, but there's no mirror. That's probably one of the reasons that they're more inexpensive. And it does have, oh, it's on the front. It has 5 grams of product, which is about the same as the new House Labs blushes. So I think it's a pretty good amount of product. These seem like they're gonna be pretty pigmented. Like, I had to knock off a lot of pigment, so hopefully I don't screw this up. Pretty sure I got the lightest shade. I heard it had like a rosier tone, but this looks it's pulling kind of warm on me. I thought this one was the rosier one. On the website, do you see how rosy this looks on the website? It almost has a lot of like mauve to it, but when I am holding it, ooh, that is a lot. That's misleading. Ooh, I'm not a fan of that. If I had seen this in person, I might not have gotten it. I thought this was going to be a rosy tone. is warm, but you see how much comes off, so that is a lot warmer than I was anticipating. I was anticipating something rosier. It's not obnoxiously warm and it's not orange. It's honestly not bad. It has like it's more of a yellow warm, but it's subtle enough that it doesn't look bad on me, but I still feel a little bit misled. It is formula-wise though, I'm like, that's nice, but I really thought that I was gonna get a rosier bronzer. So I'm like both disappointed and not disappointed at the same time. So it's not an unflattering color on me, but I really did think I was gonna get a different color. For eyeshadow, I have so many options for eyeshadow and I feel really bad about it. Like I'm drowning in eyeshadow, and this is with me not even buying palettes for like a month and a half now. But I am spoiled for choice. But I want to do something that I can match with a blush. So let me think. Okay, so I am gonna be honest, I really want to mess around with my orange blushes. So to that end, I decided that I really also want to use some of my singles because like they're literally languishing and I just look at them. So I'm gonna like use some of my Shine by SD singles. I got some really nice ones. These are Glam and NYX, these are Shine by SD. So I'm gonna use those and I'm just gonna pair that with a staple neutral palette to build the look around. And I recently got my hands on Rose Topaz, which was the only creme quad from the original formula that I was missing that I still wanted. I found somebody selling it for like 40 bucks and so I was like, good deal, I like it. So this is Rose Topaz right here. Very boring, but beautiful, as many things in life can be. So first I'm going to put on some eye primer. My eyelids are feeling pretty good and the Tom Ford ones they're like super dry eyelid friendly, so I definitely don't need to like add any extra, like I don't need any extra like hydration for my eye primer. So I'm going to use the NARS one. This is the tinted one. My AC just turned on, so sorry if you hear it. I don't know why they discontinued this one. I remember for the longest time this was like my go-to summer eye primer, especially back when I was going out a lot. And then for my eyebrows, I did finally pull all of the makeup that I had used on the road from my purse, and so I finally have my makeup back. So like my Glossier brow flick and stuff is finally back, so I'll be able to use that in today's video. For having not done my eyebrows in like a week and a half, these are not bad. My brow flick, as usual, always makes my eyebrows look nice. Okay, so to start off with, I'm going to start with this shade right here as like a base shade. Generally speaking, the Tom Ford creme color quads don't ever have like true mattes. Even the mattes in these quads do have an element of satin to them. So if you're not into that, then obviously that would be a skip for you. I find that their new formula is a lot drier and more powdery than their previous formula, which I don't really like that because now it just kind of makes them more similar to just a powder shadow. So I don't really know why they went to do that because I feel like it makes their creme formula less unique. I feel like their new formula, it's very reminiscent of Natasha Denona's, where it's just very dry. So on one hand, I feel like that does bode well for shelf life because it's not like gonna dry out, like because it's already dry. It's still good, but it's just not perfect anymore. It's just not the remarkable formula it once was. I hate to like be like the snooty person who's like, oh, the new formula is not as good, but like I try to be okay with reformulations most of the time, but this was not a reformulation I was okay with. And I'm just going to be building really light layers so that to try and avoid creating too much fallout for myself. I should probably also switch to a smaller brush, but I do want to kind of lay down the first thin layer first. I just realized orange makeup for the summer. How novel. Okay, I've kind of mapped out where I want the shadow to go, so now I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. I'm using like a stiff brush, and this is a synthetic brush. I find that the OG creme formula, it was just so low maintenance, you could use whatever brushes you wanted. You could even like use your finger if that was something that you really wanted to do. the blend of the old formula is just not something that is easy to recreate. I just feel like the new formula, it really just isn't the same. It's still good, but it's just not the same. So I never did end up buying Ember Bronze after getting Iconic Smoke. I still want it, but I don't know, it's not really something that I'm like super prioritizing. I kind of want the Guerlain one, the desert one that's like super warm too, and I feel like those are like similar in terms of color scheme. Like I'm kind of leaning towards maybe getting that one instead just to have a little bit more like diversity, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get Ember Bronze during the next Sephora sale. I'm really not sure. And I did accidentally get a little bit of dust fallout here, which being so dark, it's gonna show up, but that's okay. It's not really a big deal. My right eye is a little bit messy. Okay, yeah, and I blew it out pretty far too, so I'm happy with that. It's so humid, my fingertips feel so greasy, I don't want to touch it. And I'm just going to, ooh, that's pretty. I'm going to start it on the middle of my eyelid like that. So as you can see, definitely very sparkly, not really meant to like, I don't think it's really meant to have total opaque coverage. Definitely it's definitely leaving some droppings on my face. Yeah, this would be a really pretty transformative topper. I don't know if it's really necessarily meant to be used on its own, but I'm gonna use it that way anyways. I always forget with singles that indie singles can sometimes, they're very pretty, but the user experience can sometimes be a little bit like you gotta really put some elbow grease into it. Today I probably could have benefited from a glitter glue, I just feeling lazy. I could have also used the CLIONADH shade today for sure because I just got, my most recent order involved things like Empress and some of the other more vibrant ones, but I just haven't, I haven't even touched my Shine by SD collection yet, and I've had it since like the beginning of this year, I feel like. My last order placed was end of November and it was a pre-order. I definitely must have received it at the very beginning of this year, so shame on me. Yeah, so I put on a more intense layer. I actually quite like how it sits on top of the brown, so it's a little bit less orange than I anticipated, but I don't hate it. I'm thinking I might benefit from putting something orange in the outer corners to transition into the brown because I really want there to be orange. This is what happens when you don't swatch things. I'm gonna go in with Majesty from CLIONADH, which is up here. This is one of my more recent buys. As you can see, again, like untouched. What the heck is wrong with me? Now, I haven't bought from CLIONADH in a while, precisely because of this, so at the very least I had the self-awareness to not do that. I do really want a lot of their new shades though. So I'm gonna take this and kind of just gently start applying this to the outer area. I think should be good. We'll see if it shows up. I'm not sure if it will show up because it's gonna be really competing. Yeah, see, this is why you generally don't want to put too many multi-chromes on your eyelid because you're gonna kind of not start to, like, they're gonna kind of run together. The green shift of Majesty is catching on the side and I do quite like it. Here, let me show you. Do you see that green shift? So the experiment didn't succeed the way I wanted it to, but the unintended effect is quite nice. It's like you got a whole new, it's fun buying them and then you get another surprise trying them on. I am gonna go ahead and use Majesty on my lower lash line because I want to have some orange somewhere. Okay, and then whenever I take shimmers too far down on the lower lash line, it always looks a little bit awkward, so I am going to blend it out a little bit. I'll take the matte shadow, the light matte shadow from the quad, and just blend it further down. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so it didn't turn out quite as orange as I was hoping. I'll be honest, I surprised myself multiple times in a row, but here's what the look is looking like so far. At the same time, I still really like it. Like, these shadows are so pretty. Indie shadows always just like have it out for my heart. Like, I do really like them. But let me think. The inner corner is going to be really important now because I wasn't able to truly get orange, so the inner corner shade I definitely need to pick carefully. Okay, so I thought about it a lot. and I spent a lot of time digging around, but I ultimately decided that another shimmer on the inner corner might actually compete with the rest of my makeup. So I pretty much never do this, but I'm gonna do a matte inner corner today. And for that, I'm going to use this shade here from the Prada Quad. This is the standard packaging that's refillable, so the shade name is not gonna be here unless I pop the refill out. 02, I think it is. It's the yellow. I mean, it's the yellow one. It's pretty obvious which one it is. You guys could definitely look online and figure that out. So I'm gonna take this yellow shade. I do really want more of these. Honestly, I really like these and I would totally get more of these, but I don't really want to have a bunch of refills laying around without this sleek packaging. But with the packaging, they're pretty expensive. I mean, they're expensive without the packaging, but there's two other shades of these that I really wish I could get because I actually really like these. I know, bad me. And this yellow, it's slightly satin. It's not completely matte, so it'll still look really nice. This is one of the better yellows in my collection. It's so hard to find a good yellow, and I have way more yellows that I don't like in my collection than I do like. I should go through my collection and like pull out good yellows sometime. I feel like that would be a topic that everybody can always give their opinions on. I've known it's something a lot of other creators have done where they are like, here are the best reds, here are the best blues, and you can definitely consult with other creators for that. But I feel like for yellows, especially if you're like me where you have olive undertones and your eyelids are hyperpigmented, it's like an uphill. You're like, that's two stacks, like that you're double stacked against you to find a good yellow. Anyways, this Prada one is definitely one of the better ones, but it's not a completely matte yellow. All right, there we go. That looks good, right? That's good. So that is the eyelet complete. It ended up not being quite as orange as I was hoping for. It ended up being a lot more yellow and green, but it happens. I still think, like, I still think I can make it work. Maybe if I use like a yellow, like if I use this, right? Maybe if I should like use a combination, like go like sunset blush almost. That was called watercolor blush a long time ago, okay? Really wanted to use this one. I've not done a makeup look yet that matched this color. See, I just don't know if this is gonna work because my look is so yellow. I'm gonna try it though. I'm like adamantly really wanting to do orange blush today, so I'm gonna try it. I'll like apply just like a tiny bit. This is in the shade 03, the sooner the better, and I'll see if this works. This one smells more planty. The bronzer smelled like beach. This one smells like a plant. Has like a leafy smell to it. Okay, honestly, I don't think that's a bad match, but I'm just gonna start off with just a tiny little bit. These are glowy, but I don't think they're as glowy as the M Cosmetics one. If I could have a shade like this that's completely matte, I would be so happy, but I haven't found one quite yet. Yeah, okay, I'll be honest, this is almost too glowy for me. I really wish I had this yellow-orange color in a matte version. Like, I am hunting for a blush that is this shade, but matte. So now I'm gonna try 03, the Mango Peach Sea Blusher. When I looked at this online, it looked so yellow, but it's actually a little bit more of like, it's a little bit more kind of pastel and it has a little bit of orange to it. It looks a little more yellow in the monitor, but so I'm gonna try using this to blend out. I haven't had an excuse to use this yet either, so I was really hoping to have an excuse to use this to see if this is a yellow blush of my dreams. I know not everybody likes yellow blush. It can definitely make you look a certain way, but I don't care if yellow blush suits me or not, so don't say it. I like yellow blush. I don't care. And I feel like if you've been wondering to yourself, oh my gosh, I want to wear yellow blush, but I am so self-conscious because I feel like I look jaundiced when I wear it. Here's how you can wear yellow blush without looking jaundiced. Don't care. That's how you do it. You just have to stop caring, because on a fundamental level, making your skin way more yellow than it actually is, it's never gonna look natural or normal, and people are gonna notice, and you just have to not care about it. Okay, I actually really like this shade of yellow. It's still not true yellow though, it's still slightly orange. I'm still looking for like a true yellow blush. Okay, I'm actually really like the blush situation that I have going on. But I think a little bit of sunset blush is gonna really help add some dimension, because the biggest issue with using light yellow blush across your cheeks is it can have a very flattening effect, and if you're not necessarily, and I'm not necessarily always going for that, so on the very back end of everything, I'm going to go in with 08. This is getting better. This one looks a little bit glowy, but we'll see. And I'm just going to, again, use so little. These are so pigmented. And I'm just going to throw this on the back, like kind of almost at the same spot that I put the bronzer, because I was hoping the bronzer would be rosier anyways, so it works out. Like, honestly, most days I would rather contour and shape my face with varying shades of blush instead of bronzer and contour, which is why in my makeup collection, the part of my makeup collection where I have the fewest products besides my eyebrow products is bronzer and contour. I don't have very many. Definitely more than an average person because my collection has creeped up, but it's grown the slowest over the years. I like my blush, I like my eyeshadow, I like everything, okay. I'm not mad at all. I know my eye look is supposed to be mostly brown, but here's something else I really like to do if I feel like it needs it, is I like to take a little bit of the blush and kind of throw it on the outer corner of my eyeshadow. So I just take a really big brush and I just kind of throw it out here like this. And now it just kind of meshes into my eyeshadow. Yeah, just like that. Like you can barely see it, but it's just like, oh, there's like a tinge of pink. Okay, I do wish these were more matte. Like if NYX ever released a version of these that were matte, I would rebuy the shades I like. So I'm going to put on a little bit of highlighter, just like the tiniest littlest bit, because I do kind of want to like match the shades on my eyelids. Yeah, I'm going to use the Space Age highlighter. This is in the shade Prophecy. This is a multi-chrome highlighter. This is intense. Like this is as much as I put on my finger to put on my cheeks for the look today. That's it. So the pan looks basically untouched, but that's how intense it'll look on my, like literally I just put that much on, light tap, and then I press it onto my cheeks, and that's all I really need for this look today. I don't want to go any more intense than that. Baby little tiny taps. And then I do want to use a different highlighter for my nose, as usual. I'm going to use the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter in the shade 250. This is a good nose highlighter for me. This is it's a super basic color. And then just like a little bit on the tip of my nose, not very much. And I do like to put just a tiny bit on my chin. Times like these make me wish I had the other Odin's Isolmone highlighters that they never brought back. Like they brought them, they had them out once. I only have one shade, the lavender one, and I don't have any of the other ones. I wish I had the other ones. I'm still so mad that they just like, they're so non-transparent about what they're discontinuing. Like if I'd known it was going to be limited and once it was out, it was gone forever, I would have bought them up front. But they don't tell me these things. Like, okay, so I love how this looks so far. So I'm going to quickly go off camera and do my eyelashes because I am going to actually for once try strip lashes, and then I'll be back to do my lips and finish up this makeup look. I like it so far though. For not having filmed in like a week and a half, I'm like pretty happy with this so far. Okay, so I have on just some lashes from Doe Lashes. I got really lazy so I didn't trim them and they are a little bit long, so once I take off these lashes for the day I am going to have to go ahead and cut off the last like millimeter and a half. I would say if you have smaller eyes, Doe Lashes is still really good because as you can see, I still can use them uncut. I just don't really like, since I have epicanthic folds, I don't really like it when my lashes go all the way into my epicanthic fold. I do prefer my lashes to start a little closer to the outer rim of the inner rim of where my iris starts. But that's going to be completely different depending on if you have epicanthic folds or not, or what you prefer. So I'm going to go in with this Bobbi Brown Long Wear Cream Liner Stick in the shade Rich Chocolate. This was sitting in my makeup bag and now it is out again. When I was using it on the road last time, I felt like it was really dry, so I'm gonna see if it dried out or not. The last time I used their gel liner, it dried out on me so fast. Like I bought it half off during 21 Days of Beauty and it dried out within like 3 months. I don't know if that's just like Bobbi Brown's products drying out fast or if I was receiving old stock. Like I couldn't tell if I just was trying to apply it in a moving vehicle and it wasn't working or if it was dry, basically. And then I can kind of take the excess and stamp it on the outer corner for some added depth. And that is the eyeliner. Oh, I forgot to do my inner corner. I like this. I definitely would get more shades, but if it worked as a stick shadow, I think I would have gotten almost all of them. But because it only works as an eyeliner, I think I mostly want the purple one the most because the other two, Fog and Jungle, they're not quite dark enough to be like eyeliner colors for me unless I'm wearing really subtle eyeshadow. My eyeliner is symmetrical today. Would you look at that? Oh my gosh, my eyeliner looks so good today. My makeup today is just so good. I'm like so happy with myself right now. And like I've had such a terrible weekend and a terrible like May and just terrible everything. It's nice to have a good makeup day to counteract that. So I actually have no clue what I'm gonna put on my lips, like at all. I was just thinking to myself I was gonna give some of these away because I barely ever use them, but now I think I'm gonna use this one. This is Depends on Traffic from Urban Decay. It's a Vice lipstick. I bought this back when I was really thinking I need to, like, I want to get into grungier lip tones, like so not a shade I would wear. But I actually think it might work for today. As you guys know, I don't really go for like standard satin lipsticks very often because they're just kind of like boring, I guess. Like, I would much rather have like really dewy, glassy, juicy lips, or I'd much rather have like super blurred matte lips, versus like this just kind of is like, there's not really anything remarkable about it. My lips are a little bit like kind of on the smaller side today. I probably haven't had enough water. My lips will noticeably change shape and size depending on how hydrated I am. It's actually a pretty good indicator, and I'm definitely dehydrated because my lips are really thin today. Like, pro tip, if you want plumper, bigger lips, just drink more water. It'll make a difference. Yeah, this is definitely not a shade I would usually wear, but I actually quite like it, and it works really well with this look. Yeah, there we go. I think that's good. These are like an older, well, I remember when these were brand new, but at this point these are an older formula, so like they're not clean, they still have preservatives, so even though it's like X years old, it still is fine. So I do need a little bit more kind of like a finishing powder because I got humid again. And just so that I can kind of like soften the blush on the inner part of my face a little bit, I am going to go in with a setting powder from Flower Nose. This is the Mermaid powder. I don't know if it's available anymore. So if it got discontinued and you really liked it, you could just wait for the next collection, because honestly, they're all pretty similar, like at the end of the day, but they actually haven't released a new setting powder in a while. But yeah, this one is very slight, like I have a shade that's like, it has a very slight tint to it, so yeah, that softened up the blush on the inner part of my face. I think I do tend to pull blush in a little bit too much. Dry, like my hair needs to be shampooed and my hair doesn't need to be shampooed at the same time. I hate dealing with my hair in the summer because I have such a dry hair, but my scalp will get sweatier. So this is going to be my finished look. I absolutely love how it turned out, actually. I think everything worked together really, really well. So I am super happy with this. No complaints from me. The only thing that I will say is that if you were looking for a rosy toned bronzer, don't buy this. It's not rosy toned at all. Like, I'm not even kidding. It looks so different in person. And then here's what? These are the same shade. It even says on the back, look, it says it's the same shade. I don't know why my phone, I googled it and my phone pulled up the non-English website. Ignore that, but this is not the same shade. You've actually, like, it's nice, but I have nothing more to say. The color's completely different. So if you were gonna get it because it's a light rosy toned bronzer, don't get it. It's not rosy toned at all. If you were looking for just a classic warm bronzer that is very light and has a slight sheen to it and blends really, really well and is super easy to use, then you'll like it. So now I guess I'm just gonna have to go back and get the Jones Road one in the end anyways, because this was not it, which is fine. I guess it's fine. I'll just have to keep looking for other powder rosy toned bronzer options, and maybe I've seen enough swatches of the Jones Road one that I'm pretty confident if I got that one it would actually be rosy toned. But anyways, the hunt continues. The look did not turn out as orange as I expected, but I think this is better. I feel so pretty right now. I started this video in a bit of a crappy mood, but I'm feeling a little bit more cheerful now. I like this. If there's anything you guys want to see from me, let me know, because sometimes seeing you guys suggest things and get really excited about seeing me use certain things helps build my motivation bar to sit down and film and use the thing. So just always feel free to let me know, and until then, take care, stay cool, drink a lot of water, stay hydrated, heat stroke is no joke, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.